All right, I'm sitting at Volusia International Bible Fellowship with a young lady by the name of Amina Sirleaf. Did I pronounce that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Tell me something about yourself. How old are you? Where do you go to school?
I'm 14 years old and I'm about to be 15 in March, coming next month. And I go to DeLand High School. I'm currently a ninth grader.
Okay. I came to meet you Sunday here at this very church after doing a brief presentation for Water Missions International. Tell our viewers and readers how it was that you came up to introduce yourself to me. And you have a unique story, and I want you to tell me about it.
Well, I was listening to your presentation and I reminded myself I was thinking about when I had given a speech about the importance of water in New York last year.
And where was that speech given?
It was at McDella Cooper's house in New York, Manhattan, and it was this fundraiser, and she invited me to speak out there.
You have a copy of that speech with you, don't you?
I do.
There's an interesting paragraph in that speech that makes you somewhat of a celebrity beyond your 14 years. Do you know which paragraph I'm referring to?
I believe I do.
What does that paragraph tell the people that you were speaking to?
I was talking about my grandmother, who is currently the president of Liberia, West Africa.
Now, while I find that amazing and interesting, what I find more amazing and interesting is you're 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You have been involved in the importance of water, and like you said, primarily for the country of Liberia. I think you've done more at 14 than people 3 times your age have done in their lifetime. Not only did you give this speech in New York, but you've also been a quite successful fundraiser. Is that true?
Yes. From when I was 10 years old, and my mother helps me with this, is I will raise money doing yard sales and things like that, and I will send it to the MCF Academy, and that provides some funding for the school.
And which school are you talking about?
The McDella Cooper Foundation Academy in Liberia.
And you have been involved in helping that school for how long now?
4 years.
How much money do you think you've raised?
In total, well, about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, about like 3,000. I don't know the exact.
Out of things that you yourself do.
Yes.
You've also been quite successful at getting other people to contribute money, haven't you?
Yes.
Don't be bashful. How have you managed to do that?
Well, I have a circle. I'm surrounded by a bunch of loving, caring people that just love to help out. From people, my friends of my mother, and people that I know that I just talk to, say, hey, you want to help out? And they usually do.
What struck me when you came up to introduce yourself to me on Sunday was that you are sincere. You can see it in your eyes. And I'm going to ask you, and I told your mother this, we're in a time in this nation anyway. We're living in the age of iPhones and iPads and Facebook and Twitter. And very few people communicate with each other face to face or interact with each other, outside of being from behind a computer screen or smartphone. But yet you walk up and introduce yourself to people. I see you in this fellowship hall after services on Sunday, talking with your church members, kids your age, and you're quite comfortable in doing it. What makes you different?
From girls my age, I don't really believe that I'm different. I really do everything that I do it outside of school so that I can still have my teenage life. I still have fun with my friends. Just finished talking to you Sunday, and I went out and played football with some of my friends, and just went to the park and had fun like that.
Wait a minute. You went to play football with Ives and Ena? Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I was killer
See?
on defense.
Oh my. What did you think of Water Missions International? And let's be fair to them. I'm probably not the best representative to explain to explain it, but what would you say to people who were looking to make a difference in the world? And you have experience, you know, you've worked hard to support something in another country that just doesn't have the benefits that we have today. What would you tell people about getting involved? How should they? Why should they?
I think that getting involved is very important, and from my experiences, it's better to start out young. That's when you get the experiences to keep helping out. You know, what I'd say is join an organization, join people that share the same ideas as you, have the same passion. That's how you can get started.
You know, one of the parts of my introduction on Sunday was the fact that I came to know Water Missions International through Foster Freeze um, because of the left, right, forward march, which was meant to bring people who tend to concentrate so much on what they disagree on,
Hmm.
to bring them together on something that they could agree on and to work and to build relationships and see how they can move things forward. When I asked you what makes you different, I talked to your mom on Sunday, and I know your mom still makes you do certain things by hand.
Yeah,
You still have to write things out.
I do.
You don't get to just do everything through a text message or a quick tweet or something, do you?
No.
Is that a good thing?
Well, writing things out, I like to keep records of everything I do. That's how I stay organized and not going crazy. But I think that it's better to write out things because you don't know what could happen to, especially putting things on the internet. There's always a danger of losing information or giving out information that wouldn't be the best interest for yourself.
What do you plan on doing in your life?
I have no idea.
I
I
think you do.
I don't. I've been thinking about doing some things. Are you talking about a career? Or,
I'm talking about where do you think you're going to be? What are you going to do with your life? I think you know some things that you're going to do, and I think your mother would agree with me because people who meet you see it. You can't be 14 years old and be dedicated to raising money to help an academy in a country that, even though the president's your grandmother, um, you live here, but you understand what's going on. And this is something that you do. You know, it's not like you go out and say, hey, I want to help them, give me this. I mean, you actually organize these things. You do yard sales. You do what, you know, you do this. So, like I said, what do you think you're going to do with your life?
what I've been doing, helping people. That's the most basic and most human idea that we have is to help each other.
How long have you been a member of this church?
I have been a member since probably I was 11, so 3 years.
Do you like it?
Love it. I love the people. I love the fellowship. Everyone's so close, and it's like a family to me.
The fact that you said the people here are like a family. I've only been here 3 times, and I can agree with you. I think that everyone that attends this church truly is a family. I saw that on Sunday after the services. I've seen it every time I've come here. We're at an age where most people your age don't go to church.
Hmm.
They don't socialize personally. It's all through technology access. What advice would you give other kids your age about getting out from behind the computer screen or the video game and interacting with other people, people their age, making a difference?
Sometimes when you get so involved with technology, it's best to just stop yourself, take a breath, just very picture yourself. What are you doing right now that's going to benefit you in the future? Because you're never too early to think about what you're going to do in the future. I have a lot of a diverse group of friends. I have some friends that are religious and are not. So,
But yet you accept your friends for who they are. And I think that that goes to why this church is like a family, because it seems to me that you, your mother, Jean-Claude, and everybody that attends here, people come in and open the door and walk in, and you guys open your arms.
mhm. I have always been a very open person for ideas and opinions. Um, my friends, their opinions matter to me. I never like to judge or push my opinions on others. That's not what I would like for anyone to do to me, so that's the same thing that I try and do.
What did you think of the fact that I suggested that maybe Volusia International Bible Fellowship partner with water missions? Do you see that that's something that the church can do and that the members can really enjoy doing and make a difference?
Yes.
I,
There's so many people here that are just waiting to have an opportunity to do something like this, and I think it's just that opportunity.
are you going to be actively involved in
Of course.
it? Let's bring your mother over here.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get mom over here. And you know what? I didn't put a chair over there, so let me.
She got it.
Helen, you guys are done?
Yeah, let's get your mom in here.
Hi, Mom.
And then what I'm going to do here is I need. Okay, you're in both of them. All right. Introduce yourself.
I'm Helen Joseph.
And you are Amina's mother.
Yes.
And I also
claim-
you claim her.
Despite everything.
You know, you and I had a conversation on Sunday after your daughter introduced herself to me, and you had told me what she had been involved in. And I asked you the same thing. I said, how do you raise a daughter who gets involved, who is sincere, who is pleasant, who is sociable in an age where we've got more kids spending time behind computer screens than they are actually interacting with other humans? And you told me that it was about education and making her continue to do certain things the way they've always been done, like writing thank you notes.
Right.
What would you tell parents?
You know, I think I'm a Montessori teacher,
Okay.
and most of us who've been through the Montessori training, we still rely on old school communication. It keeps them grounded. You know, writing thank you notes, it not just works on their penmanship because, you know, Montessori is all about cursive, but it keeps them grounded in who they are, and that it's not all about technology because you get lost in that world, you know. So
You're also a member of Volusia International Bible
I
Fellowship?
am.
And you've been a member here for how long?
It's been about, well, actually, it's been 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
More 4 years.
And I noticed that you and, let's see, Tina and another young woman.
Shini, the pastor's wife.
Okay. I noticed that the women here in the church really do enjoy each other's company and go all out on Valentine's.
Different functions.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. You know, we make it it's a fellowship. You know, a fellowship. We go all out. We're happy.
Do you think that Water Missions International is something that this church can get involved in and be
I
happy with?
do. I do, and I think it's necessary for us to get involved. It shouldn't just be about us. Coming from a country where poverty is, what, 60%, it should not be about us. And I think we take for granted a lot of things, but we take for granted basic needs.
And the basic needs are, and it's like I said Sunday, and this was just from my personal experience in Mexico. You can't get up in the middle of the night and walk into the kitchen in most homes and pour a glass of water. In fact, all the water's bottled and it's bought, and if it runs out in the middle of the night, you're just kind of through. And I know there's countries that's even worse than that. I have mentioned you to an individual that works with Water Missions International because I think that you demonstrate, from what I saw when you introduced yourself to me, a love for other people, a true dedication and devotion in doing something that to you is worthwhile in helping of someone else, and that is selfless. And I mean that. That's why I asked if we could do this interview today, because I want people to meet Amina Sirleaf, and I want them to meet the young lady who is exceptional and who I am thoroughly convinced is going to do amazing things throughout her lifetime.
Thank you.
Who especially will be a doctor.
Oh,
She
well,
already has my career planned out and everything.
I noticed that she was shaking her head when I asked you what you were going to be doing in your life.
You don't mention that you got acceptance at Vanderbilt Summer Academy yesterday,
Yes.
a day before yesterday that you're going,
See, and that's what I mean. You are an exceptional young lady. And I want people to see you, and I want people to hear from you, and I want people to see the relationship that you have with your mother. I mean, just getting involved in things can bring kids and parents together in a way that I think we've long since lost.
Yeah, definitely. At an early age, I was a member of Amnesty International for years and years and years. I still am. And at an early age, I had them both decide what it is they wanted to do. Just pick one thing, but you must do something for someone else. It is not about you. So they both decided and chose what they wanted to do. Jamali was St. Jude's Research Center, cancer for the children. And for her, it was going back and giving, because education is important in our household. And she thought, well, I love to write. I love education, so why not help out in that area? And that led to the water.
But it's interesting because, like your mom said, you give back to education and you become educated, because while you're trying to help provide school and an education for kids, you realize that there's actually a bigger need than just the school building and the textbooks and the money and to provide it. And it was real interesting how you used that experience with the academy in Liberia to tell me how you became interested in water and the need for it. And I think you are not only going to be a shining example, I think you really can and will inspire people, and not just people like me who are long over the hill and ready to be thrown out to pasture, but kids your age. I think you're going to show them that there is something beyond getting buried in the technology.
That's something that I do want to do. Education it's so important, and I think kids my age have really forgotten that. I mean, from the very beginning, my mother, she's like my manager and everything, my rock, has supported me through it all. And she's constantly reminded me of how important education is. There's a saying that if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for one day, but if you teach a man to fish, he'll never go hungry again, which I think that we need to incorporate in a lot of things.
What you just said, I think, is exactly what has made Water Missions International so interesting to me. Is, like I said, Sunday, this church can go out and do a water ministry and give out bottles of water. But once that kid or that adult, whoever gets that bottle of water, has finished drinking it, the only thing they have left is that empty bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Water Missions International is devoted and committed to providing a sustainable,
That's
clean water supply and sanitation, as opposed to just airlifting water bottles in. And I think you're right. I think that people do need to understand that you need to get involved and do something that's going to leave a lasting education and experience for people and teach them how to help themselves and others.
Mm-hmm.
And you're amazing. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I meet a lot of people and have met a lot of people in the last few years, and very few have inspired me and amazed me as much as you.
Thank you.
And that says a lot for your mother, your manager, your teacher, your warden, or whatever.
Exactly that. I constantly say in my home, yes, I live in America, but I am African, and you will, obey the rules, and that's it. Like I said, lights out.
Speaking of Montessori schools and education,
Mm-hmm.
do you think we need more Montessori schools?
I really do. I really do. I believe that if everyone were to adopt the Montessori philosophy, Marie Montessori was ahead of her time. She's a female doctor when women could not become doctors. She practiced medicine alone or she worked in the Kadivas alone because she was a woman, and she was not allowed to work on with the bodies with the men present. So, she was ahead of her time, and if all the schools would incorporate our philosophy, peace, love, share, let's help someone else rather than ourselves. We do that in our classrooms. If you were to tour a Montessori classroom and you tour and you watch the children interact with each other, they help each other from as little as 3 up. The child falls, another child stops what he or she is doing and picks him up. And I think parents are lost with having to work full time, take care of the household, and abandon the children because you have to make money to survive.
Where do you think we're going to be? Where do you think she's going to be? And I know you're going to tell me she's going to be at Vanderbilt University
Yes,
School of Medicine. I already know that. But something that's even more interesting to me with the two of you is she's the granddaughter of a woman who is president of a country in Africa. In fact, who is the first female head of state of any African nation. She also is the granddaughter of a woman who, by her own history, was a woman who suffered domestic abuse, who grew up and is now running a country that has not always been kind to women. How does that make the two of you feel? I mean, it has to be what inspires you to get involved. I know that you are involved or joining, what is it, Plan International?
Yes.
And I know that you are either involved or have some interest in an organization that promotes women.
Amnesty International.
Okay. And they have a specific group, I think, that you were telling me about on Sunday that she gets involved in.
It was the plan.
Okay.
It was the plan, and that's fairly new for her. And taking off on her own, she actually did this on her own at 10. Was to contact this foundation, the academy, and in true Montessori form, they work with their peers. And so she and a few students says, what do you want to do? Well, I'd like to do this. Well, let's research it. And they pulled it up. We do have 1 or 2 computers in our school, but we still write journals every single day.
Okay.
And she contacted this lady with MCF Academy and gave her my information. And this woman called me just thrown, wow, she's 10 years old. And this is what she wants to do. I want to help her. I definitely do. And she invited Amina to New York, Fashion Week. And Amina gave her first speech at 10, wrote herself, and spoke in front of a venue, which they raised about $60,000 that night.
See what I mean? You're a force to be reckoned with, and you're only 14. And I know you keep reminding me that you're almost 15, like you really want to be older. But trust me, there's going to come a time in life when you're not going to want to be older, and you want it to take its time. Okay.
Okay. I see her future just wide open, and she can do and be anything that she wants to be. Um, she's just going to surpass both her grandmother, and I. Not that she's, I'm much to surpass, but she's definitely going to be great.
I think that you are definitely something to strive to even live up to being,
I
much
hope
less
so.
surpassing. I don't think that she finds you anything less
I
than that.
definitely do not.
I other than being a doctor and
You're done. Your future is decided.
And the reason why we talked about this is because she talked about wanting to, because she volunteers at the hospital in the summer in
With my
different
father.
with her father.
Okay.
Father's a physician, and she decided last year, I love pediatrics.
That's okay. Now I can understand her obsession with the medical field, and I could see you as a pediatrician. I really could, because of your heart and your energy and your excitement about just being with people and helping people. I would like to tell you something before we wrap this up, because I know that Jean-Claude and them need to get out of here. Water Missions International, something I said Sunday. On March 23rd, they're having World Water Day events in Charleston. I don't know if you would be able to go or not, but I would really like to encourage you to look into it and see if that's something. You want to talk about meeting people from every one of the 49 countries, including the African nations that Water Missions International is involved in, and getting involved and reaching out. That's an opportunity for you to.
It's something I would definitely do it with you.
Okay.
I've actually suggested to Jean-Claude that maybe we try to get a group from the church to go up. Only I don't have the necessary commercial license to drive the bus, and I'm not sure anybody would really want to be sitting in the car with me. If you could say one thing to anyone that watches this interview or reads the article to get them to even think about stop looking at themselves and start looking at a way to help someone else, regardless of whether they agree with their political stance or anything. Just do something that helps common good. What would you tell them?
Get involved. I know you probably have heard it everywhere, every person, but it's so important and it takes little effort. I'm still in school and doing this. All you have to do pretty much is just share an idea. Get together with someone who has the same ideas as you and passion. It's really just that simple.
You're an amazing young lady.
Thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to do this interview, and thanks to the warden for agreeing to bring you over.
That's right.
She's about to take me back.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Helen?
Thank you so much. Definitely would like to do the march in South Carolina. I've always wanted to go to South Carolina.
I know.
Charleston's a beautiful city.
It's one of my tours.
All right. And for that one, I'm going to end this interview here.